Another day, another video. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're watching The Big Bang Theory. This is the 18th episode of the, I was going to say 4th season, 7th season. Hope you guys have been enjoying it so far. If you like today's full episode, this is available for free in the link in the description below. Just click in it, put the password in, and enjoy. Now, 7 seasons in, that is pretty mad, isn't it? You know, just thinking about it. And we're actually getting towards the end as well. You know, 17 episodes, madness. I mean, it's flying and we're having fun. Time flies when you're having fun. That is literally the saying, and it's so true, isn't it? And, you know, I know that young Sheldon has actually come to an end, but the more I watch this program, the more I'm just thinking we just dive straight in after we finish this and obviously just plow through that. And then I think another one's coming out anyway. So we could get into a position, this is absolutely not even an intro that I expected to even talk about, but could even get into a position where we are weekly. I don't know how they would be producing it, if it's weekly or if they release it all like on Netflix or whatever, but like we're watching it live together. Your first time watching it is my first time watching it at the same time when they do the extra spin-off. Now that position would be pretty sick to be in, honestly. Really, really good. But last episode, you know, Penny, she was still moaning. She was still upset that she wasn't getting any jobs. She actually mentioned that she turned down one of her acting your proposals. Basically, it was a sequel to one of the films that she's previously been in and she didn't enjoy it. And Leonard was trying to say, is that really the smartest move to do when you're really not getting any income, you got to pay your bills and you plan for your savings? She's kind of got upset and she was like, look, you know, I'm going to probably have to go and get my job back at the Cheesecake Factory. Then a car broke down and then she's absolutely devastated. And Leonard, being a great boyfriend that he is, surprised her. He bought a car for her. You know, he was like, look, you know, although I do say that you need to do this, this, and this, and you need to think about this, this, and this, I'm also here to support you. And I've got you a vehicle that you can keep going to your auditions because one day I do believe that you're going to make it big. So, what a great guy. I do enjoy them two together. And I'm actually happy that they're together properly now. And like, we teased it a couple of seasons earlier on that they was maybe going to break up. But I don't want it to happen. It doesn't need to happen. The balance is good right now. I mean, it's not usually you see 3 relationships kind of rock and rolling, all going well. Usually you only have kind of one and other people dating X, Y, and Z, but I actually do feel like the balance is really good and no one's too overwhelming where I feel like there's too much screen time. I feel like it's pretty perfect right now. They've done a sweet spot, honestly. Thanks for checking out today's episode. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. If you do, please smash like, really helps out. Subscribe if you're new, and as always, let's jump into today's episode.
Should you really be sitting in Sheldon's spot?
He's in Texas. He'll never know.
Wouldn't be so sure about that.
Yeah, he has a very sensitive butt.
Have you heard from Howard?
I did. His talk at NASA went great.
No, Sheldon didn't heckle him?
No, in fact, he was so well behaved. Howie bought him a Buzz Aldrin bobblehead and astronaut ice cream.
Good. Sheldon's out of town, so we can do whatever we want. We even ordered from the Thai place he doesn't like.
How is it?
Disgusting. Do not tell him.
Yeah.
Well, I told Howie if I wasn't busy, I'd spend the night at his mom's. So for God's sake, think of something.
Stuart, are you okay?
No, I don't feel so.
Stuart?
Stuart?
He's been murdered by someone in this room. Welcome to another classic Kutrapalli murder mystery dinner.
Are you gonna lie on the floor and pretend to be dead all night?
What do you think I was gonna do at home?
Do you know what, before we get into this, right, this was released quite a few years back, obviously, and if you look at films that have recently come out, is it not called The Glass Onion? Obviously it's got Daniel Craig in. There was the first one, can't remember what it was called now, but that Knives Out, that it's basically the same franchise. It's good anyway. It's a murder mystery. It's who done it. Also, it was not a murder mystery with Adam Sandler in and Jennifer Aniston, and pretty much the same thing. These could actually stake a claim that they come up with it first. I've never actually seen it before, like those movies. I think the concept's really good, and obviously these guys have done it way in the past. I like the fact that obviously Raj is, mate, he's such a good friend, Raj. He'd be so fun to be around. I just feel like he'd be a great partner and a great friend. He just makes everything so much more better and upbeat.
Are you gonna make us pretend to be a bunch of lame characters with silly accents?
What kind of actress are you?
You're right. I'm sorry. It sounds like fun.
Thank you.
That kind of actress sucks.
I think it might be fun to be someone else tonight.
Actually, you're all just gonna be yourselves.
Oh, ugh.
Just to be clear, if we're ourselves, that means one of us killed Stuart.
Very good, Bernadette. You are a regular Byomkesh Bakshi.
What is that, like the Indian Sherlock Holmes?
Or is Sherlock Holmes the English Byomkesh Bakshi?
According to Wikipedia, Sherlock Holmes came first.
Great, everyone's a Byomkesh Bakshi. Throughout the game, feel free to ask each other questions to uncover clues.
Who's not the murderer?
Bernadette, can you not stand so close to me?
What do you care? You're dead.
Suit yourself, but I can kind of see up your skirt.
Thank you for not making fun of me during my speech.
It wasn't easy, was it, Buzz? Despite what her Bible says, recent archaeological studies indicate that although camels are referenced in the Old Testament, they didn't exist in the Middle East until hundreds of years later.
I was gonna say we pick up a cake or a pie, but an insult to her faith is always thoughtful.
I've got to say, I did mention last episode that we don't usually do a continuation of things, and I would actually really like to see it. Now, I know I'm not getting a NASA part because obviously they've been there and done that and bought the t-shirt, the bobblehead. But if we do get him to go and see his mum, I'll take it. That is half of what I wanted to see, and we never usually do the continuation on, so I am very pleased so far.
So what happens next?
I can't tell you that, but perhaps the killer dropped a fun and imaginative clue somewhere in the apartment.
Like a little man with a briefcase?
Oh, no, that's Clarence Darrow. It's from a game Sheldon made up called Shoots and Lawyers.
Well, unlike that, my games are much more fun.
Okay, can I ask you something? Why do you like making us do this stuff?
I guess it goes back to when I was a fat kid in India and didn't have any friends. Cows may be sacred there, but it doesn't help if you look like one. Anyway, I was pretty lonely, so I had to make up my own stories and games, and I promised myself if I ever made any friends that I would play those games with them.
Hey, what about this? It looks like a receipt.
What's it for?
For a cup of coffee, but it's dated 20 years from now.
From the future? How fun and imaginative.
Does the gazelle with a flair for storytelling know he's just ripping off Terminator? Does the gazelle know that according to Harlan Ellison, it was not ripped off from Demon with a Glass Hand, but was ripped off from another Outer Limits script he wrote called The Soldier?
Hey, give me the flowers and pie.
But if we show up and you're holding them, she'll think they're only from you.
They are only from me. You said the gift of you was enough.
Boy, I can't wait to see the look on her face.
Do you reckon she's dating someone?
We're leaving right now. I saw my mommy with a naked man and she was trying to be a mommy again.
Right, imagine that.
You ready to talk about it?
I'm not nearly drunk enough. Do you have any idea what it's like to see your mother ravaging someone?
Does a brisket count? Did she see you in the window?
No.
Then don't say anything.
How can we ever hope to have a healthy relationship if I don't tell her how disappointed I am and that I'll never forgive her?
Some tough talk. I may need to cut you off.
You know, maybe you better. I took a pretty big sip. I used to live in those genitals.
He's so
someone wants
weird,
to move
isn't
into
it?
my old room, I should at least get a vote.
That is so mad.
Leonard has found the time machine the killer must have used. You're all inside it, and we hurtle to the very fabric of time. And welcome to 20 years in the future.
The beer isn't flat and my rock's not saggy. So far, the future's great.
Can I go to the bathroom?
Fine, just try not to look too alive.
That's my jam.
Here are some facts about yourselves in the future.
I won the Nobel Prize in Physiology. Then I used the money to buy Stuart's comic book store and close it down so Sheldon would pay attention to me.
Hey, I'm a famous actress living in London.
So I guess you two are making it work long distance.
What does your card say, Bernadette?
Well, hang on. Do you think we'd really drift apart if we both became successful?
Of course not.
If I got a chance to be a tenured professor, I might not have that much choice in where I end up. Don't go into science for the money.
Speak for yourself. Last month, my company both invented and cured restless eye syndrome.
If my career took me somewhere else, you might not go.
Dun dun dun.
Penny and Leonard, you two lovebirds, are super successful and living in New York. You're an actress, you're a professor, and you have 3 beautiful kids.
Great.
Really? You think I'm putting this body through 3 kids?
See, the thing with Leonard in this situation here, it's interesting because I understand that he was saying, oh, if he makes tenure, he doesn't really have like a choice on where he would be. But at the end of the day, you can leave work whenever you want. And it's the whole point, as we discussed previously in another episode, that when you get tenure, then it's like a job for life. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's pretty much you're set, you're stable, you can plan yourself out. You don't have to worry about moving up or moving down. You could just be stagnant. And obviously, we did discuss earlier on in that episode that, like, you know, I don't know if that is really the best solution for everyone because you always want to try to strive towards the next big thing. Do you know what I mean? But, like, if Penny become a successful actress, it's obvious that she's going to have to move around for work. That's just the way it is, you know what I mean? It's location based. And you would think that if she become rich and famous and had lots of money, that Leonard wouldn't need to work anyway. So then why does he actually care about... Do you know what I mean? Like, I understand he cares about science, but like, can you not, wherever Penny moves to or whatever has to go for work, him take part in science there? You know what I mean? Like, because he basically was trying to say, if I make tenure, then I don't have anywhere to go, as in like he's, you know, that's his job and he needs the money and it's safe, but like, doesn't need to be safe. He doesn't need that job. You know what I mean? It would then, science would become a hobby. It's already a hobby now. It's like hobby / work. But then if she becomes so rich that he didn't need to work, then everything that he does around science would just be when he wants, whenever he wants, and it would be for fun. You know what I mean? And for research. It wouldn't be to make a sustainable living at the same time.
Aren't you gonna come with me?
While you confront your mother about her sex life, I'd rather go back to that bar in Assless Chaps.
Shelley, I'm so glad you're here.
I saw you having naked sex. Earlier, I came here to surprise you. I looked in the window and I saw you with a man.
Maybe we should sit down and talk about this.
Can you recommend a surface you haven't had coitus on?
Maybe we should sit at the table. His name is Ron. I met him at my prayer group.
How long have you been a demented sex pervert?
That is no way to speak to your mother.
But it is a way to speak to a woman who quoted the Bible to me my whole life and then desecrates one of Ethan Allen's finest sofas. I am a grown man. I am a professional scientist, and I currently occupy the moral high ground.
Go to your room.
I'm a grown man.
I don't understand why any success you have in acting is more important than any I have in science.
I'm not gonna tell you why movie stars are the best, they just are.
You and Sheldon have everything figured out?
Actually, our relationship agreement covers a wide array of scenarios, including career changes, financial instability, intelligent dog uprising.
I think you and Leonard will be together.
You do?
Yeah, I think you're the best couple I know. I feel like you guys make each other better. Penny brought Leonard out of his shell. It seems like Leonard makes Penny think more deeply about the world. I don't know. Together you two kind of make one awesome person.
That is a really good compliment.
I feel bad for murdering you.
Oh, come on! Apparently any man is welcome in this house. Why not you?
Take it things didn't go smoothly with your mom. I sort of went through something like this.
Howard, we've all seen your mother naked. That woman needs to learn how to tie a robe.
Thinking about when my mom started seeing someone a couple years after my dad was kind of a jerk to her about it. Let's just say it was the most vicious bar mitzvah speech in the history of Temple Beth, and alone ever since. She never said it, but I always felt I was the reason why.
Based on your story, you absolutely were the reason why.
Are you ready to discuss this calmly like adults?
I am. I think what most upsets me about it, Mother, is the hypocrisy. Doesn't this contradict all the religious rules you've been espousing your whole life? Then why are you doing it?
Because I'm not perfect, and that man's booty is.
I'll condemn you internally while maintaining an outward appearance of acceptance.
That is very Christian of you.
You used to be protected by your pre-Enlightenment mythology, but now you're going to need a stronger friend named Latex.
Are you having the sex talk with me?
Well, someone has to.
Oh, dear Lord.
No, don't look to him. He's mad at you right now.
I like the time travel element.
Thank you. I thought it was inspired.
It was, by Terminator. There were friends, not friends, scattered around the world, no matter what. Let's all promise to meet in front of this building exactly 20 years from tonight at 8 p.m. and have dinner like we always do.
My phone doesn't have a calendar.
Stay on that.
And it's done.
Yep, we're all in.
All right, I'll see you guys in 20 years.
Mate, that actually would be how it looks. It's kind of how cars look now.
I know it.
Do you know what? That's a pretty good joke, and it's also pretty tight as well, to be honest. But like, I actually like that joke. You see them cars mooch in the past? I'm pretty sure it was a BMW i5 or something that was there. They're ugly, them. Anyway, like the first ever electric BMWs, mate, they only sold because of the brand, because they are ugly. Nowadays, the i4s or whatever's nice. You know what I mean? Most electric cars nowadays are decent as well, you know. Tesla is the most popular one, obviously, but like, I actually don't even think that that's the best visually looking car electric anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's so many good ones out there. Even Polestar is pretty decent, but it is like an extension of Volvo, really. But there's so many anyway. It's good to see everything changing, and I've always said it, me, when I talk personally myself about the past, it makes it sound, to me anyway, that I lived in like ancient times. And, you know, to people who are older than me as well, you know, 10, 20 years older than me, like when I'm talking, it probably sounds like literally you're back in, you know what I mean, 18 BC when you're like talking about how technology's changed. But it's literally so true. You know, to people who are younger generation, like 10 to 20 or something, you're probably like, whatever's. But I'm not even joking. When I was in school, like I said, the mobile phones was not touchscreen. They was just buttons. You know what I mean? And they were small. And like that phone there, that oh, what's he called? I've literally forgot his name. That's actually really unfair to him. Stuart. Yeah, that flip phone that Stuart had, I had that in high school, and I loved it, mate. Not that exact one, but a one similar. And it was like, that was the best thing out at the time, and it's honestly terrible. Like, when I was in school, we didn't have electric boards. It was still blackboard. It was still write with chalk. It sounds so old, but like literally, it just shows how far technology has changed within 10 years. You know what I mean? So like 20 years, like they're saying, is it that unrealistic for the world to be completely different? You know what I mean? Like, who would have thought 10 years ago or whatever is that you'd have like a watch? For example, I could just go outside without my phone and I could call people on the watch. I could pay for things on the watch. It's crazy how far technology advances. I actually firmly believe that sometime in the future, they maybe be able to do hologrammy style things. So like if somebody was like doing a FaceTime, another person would be able to maybe have a watch and it can reflect the visual of the phone, like kind of like up as a hologram here. I know it sounds like far-fetched, but nothing's far-fetched in technology. The fact is how much it's progressed since I was in high school compared to now, which is not that long. I mean, it is long, but it's not long. In another 20 years, it could be honestly crazy, like endless possibilities. That's why it's a wonder that life in its deep ends, because in 100 years' time, none of us will be here. But in 100 years' time, mate, the world will be mad. And I would love to see it. Like, they could potentially be a flying car. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just sad how fast and how you strive towards all this progression and technology and science that these guys do. But by the time you usually get to there, you're not there to see it. And it's like, oh, it's disappointing. It's deep, but I suppose that's the way it is. Okay, that's going to wrap up today's episode. Thanks so much for checking out the channel today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Now, I always say me, but Raj, he's a top mate, honestly. I actually think he'd be really good. Like, never a dull day when he's around. You know what I mean? Like, he's the type of person that wants to get up and get out and do stuff. You know, when they're always sat down, he's like, should we go for a drink? Or should we do this? Should we play this? Should we do that? And, mate, I actually really do like him. I'm gutted that he's that he's on his own and, you know, he's actually not got somebody, because it'd be really interesting to see how and if his personality changed. You know what I mean? Like, it's not always about him being lonely. It's more about changing, you know. As, you know, as what Stuart was saying on the floor to these guys, that it actually is good for Leonard and Penny to be together. You know, like, he's made her more knowledgeable, think better about life and decisions, and she's brought him out of his shell, and he's more open and engaging, and he's a bit more confident. And he's saying that basically, like, these two people have kind of become one, and like one great person. And it was obviously a really nice, like, sentiment to say. And to be honest, you know, you can change, like, you can go through each thing. So he's just pointed out that one for this one. If you go to Amy and Sheldon, just look at them, totally changed. Sheldon is 100% completely different person. Still got his own same quirks and his own old personality bits, but, like, she's elevated him into a position where he's a bit more vulnerable, a bit more, you know, I would say needy. You know, in some episodes when she's not speaking to him, or, like, she's not around, you know, he thinks about her. He's even gone, he's defended her a few times. He's gone to Will Wheaton's house, he's gone to fight him. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's completely changed, and relationships do that. And obviously, Stuart's complimented Penny and Leonard. Obviously, I'm saying there about Amy and Sheldon, they've completely changed. And then if you go to Raj, I was going to say Raj and Bernadette, he'd love that. If you go to Howard and Bernadette, look at Howard's personality. From the first 3 seasons, when he was totally a ladies, well, tried to be ladies man, always hitting on them, cracking jokes. He was, you know, always kind of talking about sex and sexualizing everything, and he was always going to the bar, getting drunk. And now, you know, if you listen to his speech when he thought that the wedding was potentially going to be called off, and he come up and, you know, after his bachelor party, and he basically said, look, you know, I used to do this, this, and this, and this, but I don't do it anymore because you've made me a better man. You know what I mean? You've changed me. And it's like, she has. his personality's changed. You can easily see it with them all. It's not a negative. What I'm saying is people grow, and they grew. And I wouldn't say Raj has grown in the fact that he can have conversations with everybody now, and he doesn't have to have alcohol. But like, he's so good, and I believe he would be an amazing partner, and he's a top friend that, like, I'd love to see how he grows. How can he even get better? You know, like, if he was in a relationship, like, what traits, what personality, you know, aspects, like, what would change, and how would he improve, or would he deteriorate? Do you know what I mean? Would it be worse of Raj than he is now? I feel like he'd just be elevated, and it'd be so good to see, and I would love to see it one day at least. Maybe at least get one season of a reoccurring girlfriend, you know, not 2-3 episodes like we did. You know, it'd be nice to see him have a consistent in, you know, one same person, not somebody like dipping in and out constantly. That'd be nice to see. But it was a good episode. I enjoyed it, honestly. And I've got to say, big up the show for doing a continuation. I said that we usually don't do that. We don't usually go from one episode and then move on to the same episode kind of in the next. And that's what I was hoping kind of with the NASA and obviously visiting his mum. We didn't get the NASA side, but we got an acknowledgement, and we did get a visit of his mum, which is decent as well. I always enjoy that. So overall, no negatives from me, only positives. Thanks for checking out today's episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please smash the like, really helps out. Subscribe if you're new. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers, guys.